Okay. Hey guys, I'm over at my friend Melinda's shop and wanted to introduce y'all to her. This is Melinda, and I'm gonna ask her a few questions because I know you'll probably have some questions about her woodworking and things. So let's just start off by, I know you fairly well, so I know you've been woodworking for a while, but how long have you been woodworking?
I'm thinking about 15 years.
Okay.
So I started about 2000, somewhere around 2000.
Okay. And what is your favorite thing about woodworking?
Taking something that's old, making it new, repurposing something that I've lugged home that wasn't meant to be used that way. Starting with a new piece of wood, making something that nobody else has.
I see. Okay. Well, I know from my many visits over here that you pick up stuff that other people are going to throw out, and you come bring it here and just make something awesome out of it. So that's pretty cool. What is your favorite tool in your shop?
It's a tough call because it would probably be the bandsaw.
Yeah.
But within the last couple of years, I have spent a lot of time learning to use my table saw. It's something that I've always been scared of, but I've gotten past that, and table saw has started to become my favorite tool.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but the bandsaw would have to be right up there.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of the bandsaw, and I've seen some of your Christmas bears and all that. Maybe we'll get a chance to show some of those later. And your also the little reindeer things I think you make on the bandsaw. Those are pretty cool. And I think the table saw probably is a favorite of a lot of people. And I got to say, you've got an awesome table saw here because you've got just such a huge work area, a big outfeed, and really a nice setup here. Okay, I guess we'll just kind of go around and show our viewers here your shop. I've been bragging on how awesome your shop is because it's huge, lots of space. I'm very envious when I come over here because I'm in such a crowded space. But let's just take a walk around your shop and you can kind of give us a little overview of it.
Okay.
Okay, Melinda, so tell me about this area of your shop.
The workbench is the first thing I built, and I had limited tools, but I've kept it because I built it 15 years ago. It just keeps the basics. It's where I design, I turn things on, charge things. Everything is right here at my fingertips.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like everything's very well organized. I like the pegboard. I know some people don't like that, but it's an old, proven organizer.
Never have a hard time finding tape measure.
Yeah, lots of
And there's
pencils.
more.
Love the drawers there. All this stuff, I guess this has been repurposed from a cabinet or something, so great job there.
Yeah, everything is repurposed. Those were in my kids' rooms when they were little bitty. Just everything is repurposed from somewhere else in the house. Reuse it, anything to keep from throwing things away or buying something new.
Great. All right, so this, I guess, is your lumber storage area.
I store lumber over here. I've got my wash station there. This is actually a hardware. This is hardware section. And
Oh, yeah.
every kind of nail, screw, fastener, storage containers, all my screws that I use, my charging station, of course
Very
my
nice.
fest tool.
Very
I use that a pretty good bit. My theory is if you can't find it, you don't have it.
It's a good theory there.
So you have to be able to find your stuff.
Yeah, I'm always amazed because my shop is, if you've seen my shop, it's very disorganized, and I'm working on building little cabinets and things, but that's one thing that's always impressed me about Melinda's shop is she's very organized, saves all these little containers and has everything right where she can find it, which is saves you a lot of time when you're out here trying to do a project.
I use this right here as my little finishing small stuff, little photo cards, anything that's a little small. And I can just finish it, spin it. This thing rolls. I can roll it out in the shop. Because usually I finish at the end of the day when I'm not going to be in here moving around because I don't want dust in the finish.
Yep. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
And you never have enough storage. This is a 12-foot ceiling, and I store all the way to the top.
Yep. Well, you might as well take advantage of that space up there. Okay, so tell me about your radial arm saw here, Melinda.
I've had that forever. I love having the radial arm saw. It seems to be a lost tool. Not very many people have them. Hard to find unless you buy a used one. About 7 or 8 years ago, I made the long tabletop here that incorporates the chop saw and the radial arm saw into the same fencing system, and it works great. I can put probably 10, 12 foot long lumber up here and cut it.
Yeah, and it looks like from the amount of sawdust back here behind it and on the wall that it does get used pretty regularly.
It does.
How old is this saw? I see it's a rigid looks like from Home Depot, so.
It would have come from Home Depot probably early 2000s.
Okay, yeah.
Here it is.
Looks really nice, and I love the way you've got this big long station here so that you got plenty of room to cut things.
And plenty of storage of scraps.
Yep.
I use every piece.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too. I save all kinds of stuff I probably should just throw away, but I do that as well. All right, so moving on down here, we've got looks like a chop saw station or miter saw station, and again utilizing the same kind of table that you use for your radial arm.
That thing's over 20 years old.
Yeah.
That was probably the first tool I bought a long time ago, before I even started woodworking.
Yeah, and looks like you can cut some miters here at 45, so that's getting used as well. I love the old Folgers containers there. It looks like you got a lot of things, hardware, hinges, and all that kind of stuff.
Everything I don't use a lot, you know, hooks, hinges, doorknobs, hangers, eye hooks. There's even fishing stuff in there. Electrical, because you know I don't do a lot of electrical work, but when I have something done, it's nice to have parts that are already sure.
Okay, so tell us about this part of your shop, Melinda. It looks like you've got a planer here.
This is kind of storage. I store the planer. I've got a shaper over there, a scroll saw, and they're all on wheels, so I can pull them out and use them whenever I want. They're the least used tools. I also have a joiner over there. It's on wheels. I use it a lot, so it kind of stays behind my router table. But the lathe seems to be tucked over here. It's easy to use in this location. I do like using the lathe. It's a new tool for me. I've only been turning a couple of years. So.
Well, I've seen some of your lathe work though, so I know you're a fast learner because you really made some cool things that you showed me with the lathe. Okay, so what else we got over here? We've got, looks like a mobile rack
Yeah, you can
for
never.
all your clamps.
You can never have too many.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Storage.
More storage back there. This looks like a little bitty Craig stuff maybe, and little bitty. Well, you're right. You don't throw anything away, do you?
No, that was meant to be project boxes, and I haven't finished it because it needs to be attached to the wall. It didn't turn out exactly as I had planned, so I haven't decided whether it will be finished or not.
I see. Okay. All right. And of course, right here we've got your disc sander and a belt sander. Looks like it gets used quite often.
It's actually a whole sanding station, and everything related to sanding is in that area.
Okay, so this is your sanding station. We've got your disc sander, your belt sander that we talked about, and your DA sander, I guess you call it. Got a orbital or a oscillating spindle sander there, and that awesome drill press that you bought at the show.
Yeah.
What year?
Last year.
Before last, I guess, something like that. Yeah. But nice setup there, and you've got that on a mobile stand also, so you can pull that out and have room to work with that. Tell us about what you have up here.
These are just tools you don't use every day, but they're all there, arm's reach, pull them down, a jigsaw, a cheap circular saw, heat gun, different things. My reciprocating saw if I have to take something apart quickly. There's
Probably a good idea that you keep them in a case like that. I'm bad about pulling stuff out of the case, and then I never end up putting them back in the case, and then they get all dusty and stuff. But yours will at least stay a little cleaner keeping them in the case like that.
Well, they're tools that I often have to take somewhere to do work somewhere else too. If something happens at my mom's house, or somebody calls me and says, I need you to come help me
Yeah.
fix this.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to walk them all the way over to my house.
Yep. Okay.
This is kind of the work area, the hub of the shop. I've got my workbench on one end. I've got the table saw area in the middle. It's huge. It works. I've got electrical outlets enclosed.
Mm-hmm.
They're all hidden between the workbench and the table saw area. I've got a pole that comes from the ceiling down on the side there that houses all the electrical for the table saw, for the power strip that's hidden in this trough here. There's also an outlet on the other side for my air compressor, which is hid underneath.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the most elaborate table saw fence system or outfeed table, but it works. It's all level. It's a nice work area. Plenty of storage underneath to put things. I don't have any trouble getting things shot through there and having a hard time catching it on the other side.
Right. Yeah. And that's one thing I love about your table saw is you have the huge outfeed that's always there. It's not like you have to set it up. And even if you were pushing something really big, like a sheet of plywood or something, you could use those really cool stackable sawhorses to put over there behind it to even support a little more. But yeah, just an awesome table saw setup. Got your push sticks and your sleds and everything right nearby so that it's real handy. And also repurposing another set of drawers over there, looks like, for some more storage.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about one of my favorite machines in Melinda's shop. Tell me about your CNC, Melinda.
I've had it 5 years now. Of course, you know the builder.
I am familiar with him, yes.
Yeah. Awesome job. I love the CNC. I'm a computer graphic artist. That's my career field. So this kind of combines my love of woodworking and my computer graphic artist side. I still have so much to learn. There are so many aspects of the CNC as far as programming and designing. I don't think you could ever get to the end of what you can learn to do with this thing. But I learn something new every time I work with it. But I really enjoy working with CNC. Taking a project that I didn't create on the CNC, but adding a CNC aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just added my hold down storage area the other day.
Very nice.
Keeps them right at my fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Ordered the new ones from Rockler there. You should get something for that, Dave. The new
Yeah, in fact, my buddy Jim bought me a couple of those. He saw those somewhere and gave me a set of those. And I haven't really had a chance to try them out. But you know what's weird? I'm noticing all of your Rockler clamps are nice and perfect right here on the end, whereas mine always have where they've been hit by the router bit. I guess I try to get a little close sometimes. But
there's a couple.
yeah, very nice little rack to hang those up out of the way. I just kind of leave mine laying around. But yeah, I got to tell you, folks, this gal has really got some fascinating things that she's done with the CNC. We're gonna try to show some of those here in a minute. But the V-Carve Pro, I guess, or not V-Carve Pro, Photo V-Carve is probably your specialty, I guess, when it comes to the CNC. And a lot of people may not know about that, but I think we'll show you some things that she's done, and I think it just will blow you away because it's really beautiful. Okay, so here is some of the Photo V-Carve work that Melinda's done, and I'm going to let her kind of show off each picture and tell us a little bit about it and the process of what it takes to make something like this.
I don't really know how to just say the process, but start out in whatever photo software you have, crop your photo, do any changes that you need to, delete stuff that you don't like, just get that photo exactly like you want it carved, and then you pull it into photo carve.
Yeah. Okay. So when you say delete stuff, are you talking about like stuff that's in the background that you might not want? So you just want to get just your subjects.
Sometimes there's, like in this particular picture here of the baby, there was this big bow there that really detracted, and it would not carve very well. It just wasn't going to carve very well. So I actually had to take the bow out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I mute the background, maybe not completely get rid of it, but mute it some way so that it doesn't become the focal point. I want the face to be the focal point.
Mm-hmm.
I have found that photos that you can zoom in on their face, that works better. Landscapes do not carve very well. They just look like a glob. They don't have much detail that you can see.
Mm-hmm.
I find that single pictures of single subjects work better. Here's
Mm-hmm.
one of two, and it works okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely see where this was an outside photo. You've got a sunlight highlight there, but the single subject pictures work better, and zooming in on the face works better. This particular one works good because it was a close-up. I was able to zoom in and get both faces and get that in there, and it's a great shot because it's a newborn baby and the mother.
Mm-hmm. And just so that people that are watching this can understand, this isn't just photo transfer. This is actually engraving into the wood. Like, for example, all of these, although it looks like a frame around them, that's all just a solid piece of, looks like maple there on most of them. And then you just engrave that, so you could actually, if you could actually feel it with your fingers, you know that there's little grooves and things, and then the stain, I guess, fills it up and creates the image.
When I actually make sure that I have extra room around, because it's all a solid piece of wood, and I make sure there's enough room to make the frame when I carve the photo. And I take painter's tape and tape that off so that area doesn't stain when I start the stain and finishing process.
Mm-hmm.
And that really works well. I've toyed with multiple different ways of doing this. This is, to me, turns out the best. I've tried over here the dark stain. I didn't particularly care for that. This turned out well, but this is actually in the photograph. The darkened edge there is actually in the photograph, and it's just how it's stained. So that's where the photo work. There's so many different aspects of the photo carving. First, you've got to get your photo like you want it.
Mm-hmm.
You can just use a photo as it's taken. I like to go that extra mile. I do the photo work first. Usually takes me about an hour, and then I take it into VCarve Pro and I set all my settings. How deep do I want it? How far apart do I want my
photo VCarve.
photo carve?
Yeah.
And
I always get those confused too.
how far apart I want my line spacing. I use a 3/64 bit, not very hard to find. It's a very tiny ball nose bit. That's what I use to get this kind of detail. A lot of people don't use that smaller bit, and it does go faster. These take 2.5 to 3 hours to carve on the sheet.
That was going to be my next question, because I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to look at these and go, well, how long does it take for something like this to run? And let's just take the one there in the middle, for example. That's probably, what, maybe 6 inches by 5, something like that, I guess.
That's probably the largest one I've ever done. I don't even think I could do an 8x10 because it would just take too long. 5x7s and even some of these little 4x6s. Most of mine are bigger than 4x6s, but they can take 2.5 hours.
Right.
So as you can imagine, you go twice that size, it's going to take twice as long.
And it's not really something, I guess, that you can try to figure out a way to speed it up, because you don't, the cutter has to, you're using a little tiny cutter. It's easy to break it off. So it's got to, you just got to give it time to do its work. But as you can see, these things are just fantastic. I really like all this work you've done.
I don't know, see if it'll show. I don't know if it's showing any better.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's just got some great detail in it. And again, this is all engraved in there. Just really looks great.
These will way outlast the print.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They are pretty popular.
Yeah, I can see how once you start doing these and show them to people, you probably get a lot of requests. I know you mentioned one was a graduation gift and things like that. I'm sure that you know, you get a lot of requests for this kind of work once people know that you can do this. But yeah, it all looks great. Okay, and again, you've got another photo V-carve there. I guess that's your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to, and I guess the other one on the left is your son.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to show the people that lithopane, which right now through the camera it probably just looks like a box with a piece of white material on it, but let's see if we can get that turned on and show that photo.
Well, real quick, these are actually done from the same file.
Mm-hmm.
When you do the lithograph, you have to do it like a negative. It's
Mm-hmm.
a negative print, and that's a positive print.
So you're basically doing a mirror image of the same image you used on this one.
Well, it's like reverse. What's high here is low there.
I see. Okay.
So it's the reverse as far as your negative and positive. But just like when you're looking at a photograph, your positive areas become negative, the light and dark switches.
Right. Okay.
So that's what happens when you do the lithograph.
Okay.
And those are actually cut from the same file. And this is when you turn it on.
Okay, so we had to switch to my cell phone here because my video camera wasn't picking up this light, but and really this video probably still isn't doing it justice, but you can see that this light box with this lithograph just has a, what do you have, like an LED light in there?
I've got LED lights that I had picked up at a sign shop, like they put in can lights, and I wired it up with one of those little converters that I got at the store at Radio Shack,
Mm-hmm.
and a plug. Rockler has made this a lot simpler for us now, so you can buy a kit from them that's got everything together, which I'll use next time. And the LED lights work real well.
Okay. Yeah, just, I love the way that looks once you get it lit up. Okay, so tell me about your entertainment center, Melinda. I know you built that yourself.
I designed that quite a few years ago, and I draw everything. This was a long time ago, before SketchUp, before everything, so I drew this in CorelDRAW. But I designed it for one side to be audio and the other side to be video. So all my video equipment's on one side, all my audio's on the other. Designed the drawers so that they hold DVDs perfectly. The other side holds CDs perfectly. All the wires run in the back. There's a little trough back there that holds all the wires so you don't see anything. Your storage for the kids' games. Of course, kids have grown up and gone, but they're still there.
Yeah.
It's worked out great. I made it when we bought our first flat screen because at that time they didn't have any out there yet. They do now, but they just didn't have any storage units for flat screen TVs.
Yeah, and that thing just looks super solid too. What is that, oak?
It's all oak. There are a few, maybe 1 or 2 sheets of MDF with an oak veneer on it, just for the sides of the cabinets.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Just because you can't get solid pieces that big.
Right.
But everything else is solid oak.
Yep, it looks
I
great.
made the settee probably 3 or 4 years ago. It's been very popular. I love two-tone stuff, so I actually put composite on the top, which is what gets the most wear and tear from drinks and spillage. So it's held up really well, and I think that's part of the reason that it has. All it is pressure-treated regular deck boards. I stain them to look like cedar, but it's not cedar.
Yeah, and it looks like just some simple 2x4s also in that construction as well.
This one's actually a lot harder than the other Adirondack chairs or furniture that I built. But it still wasn't too difficult. I did have a set of plans for that, and I normally do not buy plans, but I bought that set of plans.
Yeah, and it looks great. I love the little tree in the middle there.
That actually was on the plans. There was also a duck or something on the front, and I didn't use that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but I like the composite. I like the two-tone look, and you know, plus like you said, it keeps the cup rings and all that off of it. It looks really great.
I made this table last year. It's 8 foot long. It seats up to 10 people. It's come in very handy with our family dinners. I designed it. It's just a simple pedestal table, all made out of deck boards. It matches the other furniture. One of the reasons why I went with that design, turned out awesome. Very heavy.
Yeah, and the finish on it, it looks really good too.
I do apologize. Nothing's clean right now because of this pollen here in Georgia is terrible.
Yeah, I think people that, anybody that lives near Georgia or knows about it would understand the green tint to everything outside, because we are standing out here on your deck, if we didn't say that before. All right, so that's going to conclude my road trip to Melinda's shop. Thanks very much for your hospitality, Melinda, showing us around and showing some of your great projects. I think the viewers out there should probably leave comments down below, giving Melinda some encouragement on starting her own YouTube channel. I've been talking to her about that for a long time, and I know it's probably a time issue, but she does some fantastic work, has a great shop, and I think she'd do well. So thanks again for giving us the tour, and we'll see you on YouTube.
See you sometime.
Okay, now we're going to talk about one of the favorite machines in Melinda's shop, as far as I'm concerned. And you might recognize this. It probably looks pretty familiar to the one you see in my videos, because it's exactly like mine. So tell us about your CNC, Melinda.
I'm trying to think. I've had this, almost 5 years now, right?
Has it been that long? I guess so. Okay.
I do like it. I'm a computer graphic artist by design. I mean, that's my career field, so it's kind of right up my alley. And I love woodworking, so this combines my two loves.
Yeah.
I still need to learn. Bad timing.
Okay, let's do another take on it.